like I'm getting live here. I'll kick the bot on. Won't be any prizes today, so you're here for the kit building? Got you, Fasty. Yeah, I don't quite have all the parts I want. We'll get started on it anyway. Looks like no body in this kit again, which I don't know why they don't put a body in here. Looks like a kit. Hi, Andrew. Well, look for bag 1 here. Front end parts. Of course, it's probably on the bottom. What's up, Fasty? You at work? I've had it about a month. Hi, Chris. Hi, Mike. Probably about a month. I waited to get carbon fiber parts. A few other things. Roll bar kits were out already. Doggone it, where's bag 1? Why I don't just set this back off. But I got a bearing kit for it. There, bag 1. Hey, Bobby. What's up, dude? Gonna do your track this winter. Fast, you gonna have to get another 8 scale since the track's so close to you. So it should be going, Chris. Of course, no prizes. Yeah, looks like. And you almost got your money bags right off the bat there. Yeah, I'm on a foresee thing there too, because while I hope they went through everything to do that out there, I guess we'll see, because I know what I went through. What the heck? I just seen, oh, it went to the floor. The little pads. Eighth E truggy only. Like I said, I know what I went through with Dallas County, and I don't know if horse greased wheels out there. He does have a business that he put up, but I know how much of that the stickler that zoning director is, and I know I have a neighbor down here that was a tranny mechanic, and no 8 scale for me either. I'm not buying anything till I know for sure they've got county approval, because if they don't have county approval, he's going to find out real quick, because that zoning director does not like RC cars. So maybe I'm part of the blame to that, but I still got it. Caster build, yeah. As you can see, this chassis, they were on-road guys that built these 7 Series cars and the 884 four-wheel drive, and you can see how narrow these front ends are. And the 84s, from what I've seen, they're actually cracking through these front holes right up here, since there's so little beef left on in the chassis right through there. Yes, shear off, exactly. Anyway, about the zoning, like I say, I went through it, and if they don't have everything, their ducks in a row, they're going to be in trouble. Anyway, let's get these bags opened up, get started here. I'll flip over here. To the back to the regular stream here. Show you the first part page of the build there as I'm opening bags. Normal B6 looks just about the same. Of course, I've got the aluminum parts. For the steering rack, of course. On a truck, it needs it. They just don't build the kits. They make the kits for the buggies, of course. And the steering in these things, I'll actually show you too. I'm hoping it still works. That's a 5 Series link on my steering. That's one of the worst things. They use the little ball studs on these in the 6 buggy, and they did it on the truck too. And those, about 2 runs, and those little ball studs would beat out the center link to where it had significant play into the steering with about 2 runs on the vehicle, and it's like, that ain't gonna work. And they're still using them. Have no idea why they don't go back to the 5 Series steering link. So much better with the big ball stud and the captured in versus that little dinky thing they got now. One thing I don't have yet, I need to get a set of the caster block spacers. I obviously have a set of 3/0s. It comes with 2 1s, and I want the 3/0s to get the car lowered as much as I can. But evidently I lost one of the thin ones, because this is what the top, or the thick one. You can see that thing's been wore from the bottom screw being out or the top screw being out. So I'm missing one of them. so I can only build one caster block till I get over the island this weekend. Yes, it has. I mean, it works in the buggy. I think I still got my original link in the buggy, although it's got just a little bit of slop. But like I say, about 2 runs on the truck, you'll have that ball stud, little dinky your ball end beat out. I shouldn't be needing any of these. Any of the bearings. I've got an Avid kit here. Another thing, I got the 1.5 sway bar. I got the roll bar sets. It comes with a 1.4 roll bar. That was one thing. I wanted to go stiffer on the carpet. But I got bearings. Imagine, hopefully they... Then they went to that 5-gear transmission on the B7. And it's like, you idiots. So what do? They've come back to the 3-gear with a bigger idler, which is what they should have had built to begin with. I mean, when you've got to put in a 1 size bigger motor to be able to do the same thing you were doing with a 3-gear because of the 5-gear, it's like, you guys don't realize that. Anyway, I'm going to put that sway bar aside. Put it back in my bag here. I want the stiffer one. $13 yeah, well, yeah, $200 R1 transmission. Somebody else built one too, but actually the R1 3-gear uses the smaller idler, so it actually, I've seen all 3 cases. There's 1 millimeter difference in motor placement with the new 3-gear case. Yeah, just mainly running carpet. That's actually, I haven't ran any dirt for at least 3 years. I mean, when you got it nice a track as what Muscatine has over there, there ain't no reason to be running any dirt. Yeah, you just got to worry about carpet fuzz, and you can blow that off with the blower. It's air conditioned, heated. I mean, so it's year round. It isn't Omaha. Carpet, you don't, although it does make a difference as it gets cooler. A little bit, but not like what dirt is. Yeah, and it's still the tire game. It's actually worse, almost. Although it's got to be kind of a tire game on carpet too. But at least you can get a few more runs out of them. And I still run the foam tires over at Muscatine when I can. Vote kick Bobby. Oh, shoot. Yeah, it kind of went. I guess we'll see how the sway bar thing works too. Probably could put those set screws in. Different design on the front sway bar where it actually goes behind the. There's one of them little dinky ass ball studs. Oh, I probably need to get out a bigger one. For the steering rack. Okay, I think I'm about ready to get going here. Looks like everything's here. Not gonna need that, not gonna need that. Yeah, the sway bar link goes behind the front. Okay, Kane. Makery and clean fill car. make Ryan clean Phil's car. Oh shoot. Yeah, just the blower thing now, but yeah, the sway bar goes behind the ball stud, front bulkhead, and it comes in more square where instead of angling off the front. I guess let's see if that makes a difference. Where it's more square. Okay, first thing, get these figured out. That's the top. I should have some bearings for these. Although they're probably basically the same thing. These they don't make in ceramics. Oh, you guys need some points? I can do that since you're on here. I can give you all some points. There, you got some points to play with the games now. EBT, Phil is like the government. He can print money. I've got a lot of silver, actual real money, a little bit of gold. Not the fiat stuff. It's dropped a couple bucks, but what's it up? Almost 50 or 100% here in the last year, a little over a year. I like the metal tech. Uh, yeah, a couple days ago would have been the ideal time. If you had a bunch of silver, could have dropped a little bit, but I foresee it still keeping going up there. Well, I thought the bearings would fit better, but they still fall out. It'd be a wise thing to invest in right now, I would guess. Okay, got those in. Put the ball studs in. Looks like they got a 1mm washer for the steering. Hope they go in the outer hole. Of course, the plastic parts don't even have an outer hole. Loctite. Guess these are all the same length. No. Need the shorter ones. Thursday nights, well, she ain't gonna make much money then. So fast, are you at work, are you? Or are you working at home? Okay, get these in here the right way. Working from home, yeah. Still working out of, well, what was Pioneer? What is it? Cortiva or whatever down there now. Yep, yep. I figured as much. Loctite. I've never had these back off, but it's probably because I always Loctite them. Well, I wonder how much stuff will be missing in this kit. Or screwed up. Okay, got those in. Now I need to get these over here, the height adjusters. And I want them up. I want it up. Which means the hat bearing comes in from the bottom. Okay, we got two different sets. We use the others under, okay, we want the little set. Have to remember how to put these damn things all together again. Hi, Muscle Shells. Thunder Tiger quality. They still owned by Thunder Tiger. So one thing, it helps keep, maybe help keep those bearings in there. Okay, ready to put those together. Sorry. No, I haven't. Actually, this truck, I'm finally gonna get rid of my Novak stuff, believe it or not. Just not enough brakes for carpet. I've been struggling with it on corner speed because, like straightaways, I have to back off way earlier than anybody else. I would have to guess you'd have to ask Tom about it. Render neck. That's what I would tell you. Okay, where's my button heads? I can never remember how to put these things together. That's bad, ain't it? Yeah, I honestly don't know. I mean, he's doing all right with it. Hasn't had any issues, I guess, so. Okay, am I putting this together wrong? Forward, ball, yeah, it's right. Remember how to do this stuff. We sat here at the track here a while back. Somebody hit, the steering was hitting. Didn't know why, couldn't figure it out. Well, it's dumb, or he'd put this thing in backwards. So it was hitting the forward part of the chassis. Just a little, that little bit offset. Had that basically flipped over. Coyote instead of coyote or coyote. Coyote, yeah. You know, I didn't put no thread lock on these. Plenty on it now. Yep, coyote. Yep, I do too. Coyote. Free. Let's done something right. Still using the 6.4 stuff in there. Same steering rack as the 6.4 or 6 whatevers. Should have put that through first. Now it'll be have all the Loctite down in the little shim in there. A little foot. Nice rack. Oh, and then I put that in backward on the wrong side though. No, it's all right. There's enough room for them to clear. Okay. Those two ball studs. Nose. I probably should be going to the inner hole. here, but for right now we're going to use the center. Of course, the book setup is, although carpet or dirt has got a lot closer to the carpet setup wise because of the way the tracks are built now, I'm still going to go stiffer and lower than the book setup. I don't know why I don't have my power wrench out. Yeah, exactly. Probably could have got this carbon fiber too. I'm not sure if they make these carbon fiber. I think they do the top plate anyway. But I did get the carbon fiber arms, caster blocks, side rails. Didn't get the gearbox. There isn't really any weight difference between carbon fiber and the composite. Just a little stiffer. Looks like I got 6 of you in here. I don't know why I'm slower than hell building these. Yeah, I'm not going to put as much caster in the front end, get a little more or a little less corner entry steering and a little more off. Okay, we're ready to put those into that rack into the no, actually the next thing is the sway bar. I know they say to put Loctite on these. I hate putting Loctite on 1.5 millimeter headed things. I did have one of these come out of my B84 set screw. I don't know how the heck. I usually crank them down enough that they don't come loose. Yes, Chris, I know why you're here. Kane was in here for a little bit, but not exactly his time frame over in Australia. Okay, those are that's a spacer, that's a spacer. These are the sway bar ends. That's the other thing, getting the wrench started in these. Of course, I'm blind enough I can't tell which end the slot's in. Hi, Michael. Or the head is in. Okay, now we're ready to put the sway bar in. Got these funky little pivots now that got to put on instead of the center set. I suppose it might make it easier to get them out. But think about it, maybe. That's the wrong way. Yep, Chris, you got the hours. Of course, you know, I guess we'll see. I don't know if that'll let it be easier to get out or not. I think which way I want to put these set screws in here. Up would probably be into the, probably have to aim them down. I'm guessing. And get to them by the chassis. Because any other way, you aren't going to be able to get in there. That I know of. And that doesn't want to go in. There it goes. And that's the thing. You got to kind of a pain in the butt to get square in there. And they tell you to put it in right now, which tells me, well, I guess that really doesn't tell me anything. Because they tell you to put the servo in here right away also, and while I've got it out, I don't see no reason why you have to have the servo in, because you can get that out without taking like even the top plate off. So well, I actually got that pretty well centered in there. And it's loose, so should be good to go. Just make sure the set screws are good and tight. Say I lost one of these little set screws out of my four-wheel drive. I I wondered why it wasn't driving worth a crap in the main. Come off the track and the sway bar's unhooked. Or not where it should be. Okay. Got that page done. Oh, they got the little ball stud. I'll have to get a ball stud out here for the steering rack. Why does that not look right? Oh, it looks all right. We can get the bolt stud here in a second yet. I know this diagram confuses me. Okay, that's the way we want ours to look. We want the steering rack up. Gapped upwards. Always thought those were angled. A little bit, but evidently not. Yep, somebody trying to sell me something. Yeah, these little spacers here keep they've got two heights for these. The steering rack. We want the steering rack up. Oh, somebody else trying to sell me something. Okay, just like that. Needs to go into these holes. Like I say, I always got to look at these things. And that's where I need my 2.5. Knew there was a reason I had the 2.5 out. Actually, get it started with these. With this wrench, handheld wrench. Hopefully. Oh, come on. Maybe we won't. Get pissed at it and use the power wrench. It's like that tip just isn't quite the right size, but it is. Yeah, we'll go back to the manual wrench. Okay, next thing they show, which I did not see. Oh. It's because it's part of bag 2. I guarantee it. I guess it does. It does show bag 2. Okay. Bag 2, lot of parts. Get the parts I don't need. Out of here. I'm going to need these side rails. I know that. I got carbon fiber ones of those. Not going to need the servo horns. I'm not going to need the arms. I got carbon fiber ones of those. That little dinky ass bumper. There's sway bar links. Steering link that I won't use. Top plate. before I get too carried away, I probably ought to get up and get a bolt stud for that steering link on there. Actually, I don't need it. It's still in this one, so guess I don't need it. What did they give you? An ESC weight in there? This is something new too. They got spacers to go underneath the IVMC. Got spacers to go underneath the pivot block. Now, that where that's circled right there. And they actually give you 2 of them. If I can get back over here. I think they're both 1 millimeter, but I don't think I'm going to use them. They show one in the picture, and I think I want to get the chassis as low as I can for carpet, so I'm not going to use those. And I'm digging down into here to get the it's the new shock tower. Tiny. And they give you a plastic servo mount. Are you kidding me? Is that all they could give you? That's already cheesy as hell. Fan mounts. I mean, come on. Why the hell they giving us? They've been using aluminum pads, and they went back into the chassis with the mounts to make it stiffer. Well, what the hell you use plastic for your servo mount if you want stiffer? That makes absolutely no sense. Except for money. This cost them about 10 cents to 50 cents for aluminum mount. Or they want you to buy that J-Con one. Promote J-Con. Buy an aluminum one. Or Associated probably got one too. I didn't even think about that. Factory team. Look at that little dinky ass pivot block. On-road. Guys designing an off-road car. Make any bets on how soon I bend or break my chassis. Yeah, the only thing I need here, like I say, I'm not using the shims, so the bumper. For a $400 kit, they could at least included the servo mount aluminum. They don't give you steering racks. Hey, I think about got it opened up here. Guessing those are shock tower. We might not be using those either. Let's maybe steal the ones off my 6.2 truck over here. Quick change. Get the screws all set out here by length. Those are flat button heads. That may be servo mount screws. I figured those would be longer. Okay, I'm sorted out by length and type. I always try to make sure everything's in here before I get going with another bag. Okay, we got M14 flatheads. Not those. Well, those don't look like 14s. I suppose they are. The other two would be the bumper screws, so yeah, probably okay, ready to start attaching stuff to the chassis. Oh, if these have, yeah, they do have plus and minus. Want to go +2 here. Just like that. That goes just like that. Get that in there first, maybe. If it wants to fit, which it don't. What the hell? goes. Tight fit. Say I'm not using the shims. I can put them in afterwards if I think it's the right thing to do, but I think that's more of a dirt thing. I think you want that chassis as low as you can get it on carpet. I always use the power wrench usually till it pops, and then hand tighten it the rest of the way. Okay, next page on the manual shows you putting in these little pads first. And it does have an ESC weight. Came with it, which I think it's the same one as the 6.4 used. Those are the little side pads I need to put on before I finish putting the rails on, which that'll be shortly. Okay, with those, oh, that's the little screws that go to hold the plate in place. ESC weight, something for the ESC to mount to so it comes out easier, I guess. Having to unsticky tape it. I'll put them in little steering thing that I won't be using. I need these little dinky ass things. It says to put Loctite on them too, which I did lose one. On 6.4. So it did rattle out. I don't think I want to put much though. Hi, Scott. I don't know how long we'll go here. Probably go for a little while. I'm not going to get, like I say, I'm not going to get built by this weekend because there's parts I need to go get. I go racing this weekend, so not going to worry about building it at the track. That's the other thing. I keep thinking of more things I need to get. Need to get a chassis cover. And I know that they haven't come out the T7 one yet, so I'm going to have to cut down one from probably a 6.4 to make it work, since they're so much narrower through the rear end. Front end. Okay, chassis weight in. Now we're ready to do the side rails. Which I got carbon fiber ones to go in there. See, this is one thing they just came out with. I could have built the kit without them, but my stock car, I like it to be a little stiffer. So and for carpet needs to be, could be a little stiffer. Sure there isn't nothing on there, just part number. These I'll probably have to get the Dremel out for. Carbon fiber usually leaves a little bit of extra material on there. More so than the plastic does. Either leaves a little extra or takes a little bit of the material out of it, but these, yeah, they've got a little bit of a sharp edge on them. Grab the Dremel real quick, hit those spots. That side. Return Dremel. Yeah. Yeah. Take off the little sharp edges from the forms. Or the molds. Okay, what screws do we got for these? Should be fairly little short bastards. Says there's 10 of them. Well, I don't have 10 of anything. Must be these. Okay. At least they are putting them in different bags. That makes that a whole lot easier. Hate it when they put two sizes of screws about the same in the same damn bag. And I'll leave the back one open on this side because that needs a little fan mount to go in it. Probably should have started these with the cut the threads first. Another thing about carbon fiber, it's much easier to pre-cut. Why is that not fitting down in there? There we go. A lot of times they don't like to start just like that one. And then the threads get really hot. Two, three, four, five. any other holes? Oh, yeah, and I needed to put that those side rails on the battery, in the battery area, before I put these. I don't know why, but I do, because they just get chewed up anyway. Little side foams for the battery. See, I'm going to put the other one. I should have put this one on before I stuck it on. Screwed it down. Much easier to put on when they're not in the chassis. A little padding for the battery. That one isn't going down like it should, but hopefully I won't need the battery clear ahead. A little chilly this morning. Well, I guess I was out to feed the cats, but had fun the other night. About time I went to go to bed. Midnight. Pop, the power goes out. And I'm like, okay. And I know it wasn't a flicker and they went out, it was a pop and they went out. I remember about 5 years ago, same thing. And I do have my internet router on a backup power supply separate from my computer. And I went in there and it was still going and had internet. So that told me that I had down here at the corner, they've got a box that's hooked to power for phone service or internet, and it was still going. So it told me everybody else had power but me. So I walked out to the road, put my shoes on, walked out to the road. My flashlight wouldn't light up the fuse on the top of the pole, but I had a feeling I could see a shadow in the ditch, and sure enough, frickin' coon had got up in the transformer, popped the fuse on the power. He's laying in the ditch, still alive, believe it or not. So I'm sure he got onto the 7500 volt or whatever the main feed line was, whatever that voltage is. Turned his head and looked at me, so I had to come back in. Of course, house dark. I don't use a smartphone, so I can't go, computer is down because the power is out. So I had to go find an old phone book to get the phone number for the electric company. They'd come out in they were probably here in less than 45 minutes. Got the power back on, but of course I couldn't go to bed till I made sure the power come back on. And I asked the guy, I said, why did they do this? Like I say, about 5 years ago, same thing. About the same time of night, about midnight, about the time I was going to bed. I asked him, why did these coons do this? And he said, I don't know. He says, 6 o'clock in the morning, it's the squirrels. And midnight is the coons. At least that's what he said. Okay, I need that little fan piece wherever it went to. And there's the little plug. There it is. I don't know if I like this little rinky-dink thing either. I'd much rather have the fan on top of the motor. I hope somebody comes out with a add-on fan mount. Comes off the transmission or even off of this little thing. Little corner spot comes up and does something where it actually, trucks, you got room for a fan on top of the motor, which it's about what you need on a truck, keep the motor cool. Bobby or Fasty, any of you guys got a 3D printer? I guess the guys over at the track, they got one. Got a 3D printer. I don't know if they know how to make the designs though. I don't know how hard that is to design something new. It needs to come up and around the motor because you usually aren't going to have your battery clear back, so you're going to have room in front of the motor. It's like with the waterfall on the 6 series, and have a fan being able to sit right on top of the motor. Metal would probably be better, but something that comes up, may even uses a little bit of that. Of course, motor, the sensor lead usually is pretty tight right in this area for the motor. Need a little gap there. Either that or come off the back holes of the battery, hold down or something. Guess we'll have to see when it's all together. Like I say, I don't like that design for the fan, where it's angled in and blowing sort of at the fan. Okay, where are we at now? What are the extra screws though? Showing 10 screws. Got 2 up front. I'm guessing it maybe is a misprint. Oh no, they got screws. Okay. I guess I ought to look at it. There's screws right there. I really don't know why they got those clear in there. Okay. It's just like added material. Don't really need to be there. Okay, they got their little servo link, which we aren't going to use. We've got our servo already together with what I'm going to use. Yeah, it's extra weight that probably isn't needed on a truck. Looks like to me they've got added material on the sides right here too. Maybe it's supposed to stiffen those side rails a little bit. Might have those screws in there like that, but it just looks like it's in the way. I mean, we're already added weight right here. Could put actually you could buy a weight and put up there too, which we may end up doing because they don't make a steel arm pivot block or whatever. I ran steel ones, which were about what? I think they're about 15 or 20 grams heavier than that on carpet, on which, okay, now we got this goofy looking thing. I got all that stuff on that page done. I'm not using the link. I'm got my own link, old style. We done that. Ready to use that cheap ass servo mount. They couldn't make an aluminum one. Back to old school, using plastic instead of servo mounts out of plastic. And it's a little bit warped, I can see that. Since it's plastic, not aluminum. Oh, and it's going to be right. I guess I don't want, that's why it wasn't going down. I have to put my transponder mount on top of that thing. Now, they don't make it in aluminum? Well, they expect J-Con to take, like I say, are they promoting J-Con? It's the only reason, I'm sure J-Con probably makes it in aluminum. Oh, I got you in the kit. Like I say, they've been giving us aluminum servo mounts for a while. Now they're back to plastic. Or at least make it out of carbon fiber, do like they did the four-wheel drive. Cheat, cheat, cheat. Okay, well, guess it is what it is for now. Okay, what do we got for screws on that? 10 flatheads. It's got to be them. Come on. Oh, the hell happened there? Oops, if I line it up. And of course, the screw doesn't line up perfect because it's plastic. But it did start, I guess. Guess the one thing about it being plastic, don't have to worry about Loctiting the screws and then not having the screws come out. Where then you got to cut the frickin' heat them up or notch them out to get the screws out. Okay, servo's in. Guess I can go ahead and they don't show popping the link on yet, but they show it in the picture though. Yeah, I guess they do. I use my better than what they got now, something they went away from. Heavier than old school, heavier than current. I don't know if you can still get this link or not. I think it was like 91, 459, 469. Original part number for that link was like 91, 453. And you could get them as a kit as 91, 455 with all the captured ends. But I think now you've got to buy, it's like 91, 469 to get this solid servo link. They used them on, I think is the, it's whatever ready to run short course they came out with. Hopefully that isn't too long. I don't think it will be. I don't think it makes any difference how long that is. Just make sure I got full throw. Of course, that's way more than it needs or you'd use, so looks like we do. That is a pretty long ball stud I got in there. But that way, if it backs off, it'll take quite a bit before it falls out. Okay, this is a little different. Top plate is a little different. Before they always had two screws. Of course, it's narrower here in the front. Had two screws down here in front of the, actually it usually was kind of at an angle back here. Guess it all locks together now. Oh yeah, and it's got plenty of room for the servo to fit in there. think. Yeah, way more room for clearance than the 6 Series did. 6 Series, sometimes you'd have to kind of trim off a little bit of that servo link because it would rub on this top plate. Okay, now use 16s, 3 of them. Must be those. Now this is where you want to use cut the threads. Use a socket head into that carbon fiber because it goes in quite a ways. See, it already got tight. And they get hot. I guarantee you I don't really want to touch that screw right now. Those threads will be smoking hot. That one already got tight. Yep, it's warm. Yes, ideally I could use socket head screws on those versus these button heads. That would have been about the right length. Well, I guess it is a little smoother looking. Hopefully you don't have to take this top plate off a whole lot. Here, those threads had actually stuck to the screw. Getting hot, kind of melting as you cut those threads in there. Okay. What's the next thing? Okay, we're getting ready to put some arms on it. Okay, sitting here looking at the page. Seeing what I should do before I slap the arms on with the hinge pins. And got those little set screws for the, and we probably got the little, little button head that goes into the arms to hold the hinge pin in place. That's a little, yeah, that one's big, long, super long too. What's the little, what are the spacers for? They're 2 mil. Okay, the one would be for the part I didn't use. We got a 1 mil one in there. Was it under the link? Oh, it was a spacer for that, which since I got aluminum horn in there, it looks like it's upright. It's pretty, that's straight across there, which that's, I don't see no reason to be putting a ball stud in, move that link ahead, make it straight or in its center. Of course, as it goes to the either side, it's going to pull forward a little bit. So okay, I don't need, yeah, I need these. I don't need the ones that were in the kit. Carbon fiber, like I say, a little bit stiffer than the composite material. I'll probably have to get the Dremel out. Actually, those broke off clean. Bet you these won't. Yeah, we'll hit them. Make them smooth them out. I'm guessing they're the same as previous ones. Yeah, mounting screws go in the back. These are different though. The placement of the sway bar links have always been on the back side of the arm. Now with the sway bar behind, to put the link up forward, we're a little more susceptible to being knocked off. Okay, need some screws or set screws in those. I suppose they say Loctite them too. Like, do not over tighten set screws. Well, they don't show no Loctite. Oh, already got those two in. What the heck am I doing? So those go that way. Need these little links, uprights, and of course those are plastic. And will not break off. Gonna get scissors out. Probably Dremel them. That is sharp. And I probably want to pop these on. I guess I didn't get my pair of pliers out here. Should make this a whole lot easier. Holy cow, those are tight. Okay, I don't know why I didn't have my pliers pulled out here. Just to show you guys how much they narrowed up the front end. Look at the difference. That's an old one. 6 series. The mounting screws, you can see how much narrower those are. The pins are in about at least 3 millimeters on each side. So the arms have to be quite a bit longer, or probably are. I know the rear, the CBAs or CBDs are 2 millimeters longer, I think. So it shows you how much they narrowed up those chassis mounts, which I think takes away strength. See if I can get these sway bar links together. I know it's much easier to do it off, not on the cart. Usually these don't pop apart. Like I say, they're a softer plastic. Than normal. I want to get them on the arms. Sure, much easier. And that is tight too. Holy cow. If I can get a little, it's going to have to be a little screwdriver. Can't get my thumbnail in there. There it went. There we go. Okay. Hinge pins. Probably about the next thing. You don't show it till the next page. Yeah. Oh yeah, I need to put the little screws in, hold the hinge pins in place on the rear, which I like that they do this, because I have had to drive those pins out to the rear in the past when they were bent. Just enough of a little edge there to hold the pin in place. They've been doing that since they got away from the little E-clips to hold the hinge pins in place. Okay, those are in. Now we're ready for the hinge pins. Don't use that or any of those extra parts. Need that. Might be a little more interesting getting those definitely have to have those in place to get them with them coming in from the front and at an angle the old way. You could actually finagle those sway bar links on and off without I don't know if you can do that. Guess we'll find out eventually. You can move those things enough that they'll pop off the sway bar mount or sway bar. I don't think they will. Oh, maybe they will if the arms take the shock loose. Looks like they'll maybe come off. Afraid to pop it off of there though and not get it back on. I'm guessing they will. They about have to. Otherwise you have to disassemble the front end. Oh, and that. See right now, hopefully that, yeah, it looks like maybe there's enough room for that. Get on that set screw on the mounts. Sway bar mount. Let's have that set screw in there too far. So don't want to slide on. Are you kidding me? Ready to go on there now. Are you kidding me? Still acting like it's too tight. Yep, it was. Went right on once I backed it off enough. Oh, and that popped back off. Well, I guess we'll find out if it will go on. I can see that's going to be a little pain in the butt. Bending it. It goes on, but you got to bend that wire a little bit to get it to go on. See, I knew we'd figure it out if you can get it on and off of there. I don't know which way these should be aimed either. I'm guessing shock will come down right there. It'll be behind this. See, already they're a pain in the ass. Shock tower will probably be, figure these things out ahead of time. I'm guessing that'll be all right. Guess we'll find out soon enough. Won't know till I get the shocks on there. I guess I can move them when pop the shocks loose. Spin way too easy. One thing. Of course, they'll loosen up, or getting the threads in there will loosen up. Tighten it a few up or down a few times. The threads will loosen up, or the slot will loosen up. Okay, got the sway bar on. What's the next thing? Probably putting the set screws in the bottom of the little set screws in the to hold the hinge pins in place. Says to Loctite them too. And I'm not a believer, and I know you should, but I stripped one of these out. And I fought and fought to get that. Only way I could get it out was actually drive the pin out. And then the set screw came right out. Right, once I stripped the threads out of it, of course then the hinge pin was destroyed. But I salvaged that, keeping that or steel block. So no Loctite for me on these. Won't tighten them down tight, but we won't Loctite them, even though it says to. I would much rather replace one that comes out, vibrates out or whatever, with a new one, as to have one not be able to come out like I did. These little set screws are, well, for what you get of them, are much cheaper to replace one of these as to have to replace that pivot block. This is for racing, Mr. Pickles. Actually, this car is being built for carpet off-road. So I'm not quite exactly following kit setups. Of course, I really haven't got there quite yet as far as setup wise. I guess the one thing I did, there's supposed to be a spacer underneath this that I took out. to get the chassis a little bit lower for carpet. I'm in Iowa, Midwest. Okay, where are we now? Got those little things in. Bumper, and we got going to the shock tower, which I don't think I'm going to use those, the factory stuff here. I'm going to steal some off an old truck. I got some quick change shock ends on this truck where I can just pop the nut off the back side to move the shock in or out versus have to take the whole thing apart to move the shock in and out. Since I ain't running this truck anymore, my old dirt truck, okay, yeah, that's what, you got any questions, just ask. I'll try and answer them. One thing, I screwed this one up already because I should have taken back loose the shock side of these quick mounts. On one of them, so screwed up. Say I got these quick change mounts. I rarely move shocks anyway, but I mean, I've got them. Why not use them? I don't know who made these. These were Lunsford, or I got them somewhere else. They are a little bit different, and they do have replaceable where the kit ones are all aluminum. They do have replaceable plastic pieces on here, which they aren't going to wear the shocks out near as quick. I'm going to try the center hole for now. We'll go center out. Although these arms got three I think they got 3 holes. I don't know if they'll go center out or center. These older ones, the 6.4 truck only had two holes, so. But yeah, quick change. The only thing you have to have is a 7mm wrench to get in behind the shock. Get on that, and then you can pop them off this side and move that shock in and out, versus have to unscrew that 10-mile long screw that goes through that. Move it. I say I just as well be using it since I ain't running this truck. But I say I tried to take this one loose the wrong way. And now I got to either grab a wrench or I got a 7mm. Should have. Yeah, I do. I knew I should have one. There. It's loose now. Using old parts on new cars. Oh, didn't drop that. But that truck didn't get used a heck of a lot. It was used some. That was my old dirt car truck. Kind of interesting here though. Because how does that body mount? Only 2 screws that oh, the screws go in from the front now. Well, that's a smarter idea anyway. Use these 2 for the bottoms. Use the longer ones for the okay. Sitting here looking at my diagrams. Yeah, I knew I didn't want to put that ball stud on the inner hole, even though I kind of like it to be there. Make that camber length longer. One thing about it, with the body mount bolting on the front rather than tighten that too tight. Maybe loosen the screw up and then the other side will go in. But yeah, now that I see how everything goes together, I may move those ball studs into the inner hole. The 6.4, those were a pain, because to get the body mount on the 6.4, the screws is actually up higher, and the screws for them went in through the shock tower from this side. Well, to get a wrench up in here when you have all your electronics is a total pain. You need a normal right angle Allen wrench to get them out. Well, you pull the shock tower off, you can get to them. Well, if you have these ball studs in, you couldn't pull the shock tower off because the body mount blocked getting the ball studs out. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. Yeah, why use a body mount and they give you no body? Exactly. Good thing I got one painted yet. And the 6 series bodies fit on the 7, so hopefully the body 6 body that holes I got drilled will fit on there, but I do have a new body painted already, so I'm good to go on that point. Yeah. I haven't had any bodies painted for a while. The 84 or 74 body went on the 84, which that was nice. Four-wheel drive. With not having to do anything, which that was cool. I guess I did have to trim the front and back off just a little bit because of the way the gearboxes are made now. But just on the top of the body. Didn't like how that. I'll loosen these 2 bottom screws back up for a second. I seen that shock tower move when I pulled that screw tight. I don't want to get any tweak to it. Have it snap on me the first time I use it. See, all done, Oval Racing Outdoors, Fasty. Yeah, I figured as much. Well, you were gonna race at Omaha. You're gonna race at Bobby's. What you up to this winter? Oh, I got you. So you plan on racing Omaha's Oval? I don't know what Muscatine's got going yet on their dirt oval yet. Okay, well, shock tower's on there. I guess I need to put the bumper on. I guess I haven't heard. Maybe I'll hear this weekend. They're getting their oval going at Omaha or at Muscatine. Don't tighten these down except by hand. pretty easy to tweak that bumper all out of shape. You let the power wrench tighten it down. Besides, it's going to have to come back off to put a chassis protector on it anyway, so. Well, that's front end. What else do we go? Where we go from here? Oh, yeah, this is probably where I'm gonna call it quits till probably next week. Unless, well, I guess I could build a gear diff yet in the rear end, because I'm getting ready to build outer parts, and I am missing, well, one of these. The kit don't come with these, the 3 O's. Kit comes with the 2-1 height adjustment for the caster block out here on the end, and I want to use the 3 O's. Which I don't have another set. I could probably rob a set somewhere. That dirt truck won't have them. Yeah, it sucks. Some things you forget about when you're ordering parts. What's after the bag 3? Bag 4 is the rear end, which maybe we can go ahead and start on the rear end. Bag 3 is all this stuff for the steering. Bag 4 is the rear, so I guess we could start on bag 4. Do it a little bit different than what they want you to do it. Probably right there. Bag 4. Yeah, not gonna need that. Done with that. Yeah, that's gonna need those. I'm gonna need that. Yeah, I'll have it quicker Saturday. I probably could run down to Des Moines. They might have it in stock in Des Moines, these parts. I say might. I could call down there and ask, I guess. I'd have it tomorrow. But I'm going to be at the track Friday, so there's other things at the track that I want, different springs. couple things I wanted to track yet that I don't have. Like I say, you forget all the things you need to. I just wish they made a carpet kit, because then you wouldn't have to buy all this crap. It would come with it. Like these things, they could come with both sets in the bag, but they don't. There's two sets. Where are they? But yeah, there's two sets, but they only include the one set that you need for the kit. The way they want you to build it. I'll guarantee you they are not in there. I see the one pair of them, and they're two ones. I think the other one set is right there that I can see. I guarantee you they're two ones also. I need the 3 zeros. I mean, I could build it, but then I just got to tear it back apart. So that kind of defeats the purpose of building it. So we'll just wait. We'll do some work on something else. And this ain't too bad. Except for the fact that I won't know. So I'm not going to build the shocks the way they want me to do them either. I'm going to have the shocks inverted on the rear of the truck. And the reason I'm doing that, I've tried them. It's what Joey Levin did with his 6.4, and I tried it with the shocks inverted with his, basically through his setup on my truck, and it was much better. It does lower the center or the weight by flipping the shocks upside down, which is a good thing on carpet. It's the weight down as low as you can get it. So the mount, the shocks on the bottom, you got to do a little bit of standoff work. I'll actually probably use these to stand off the shocks at the bottom. But that can be done after the fact. And I don't need these arms because I got carbon ones. These are the ones I want. They're already pre-broke apart for me, but I will smooth up the edges. So I wanted to make sure those weren't different sizes. Of course, one of the first things they show is putting those little set screws in, which I'm not going to do right now. For the lower shock mounts, although I probably could. I just don't know exactly how far to put them in. Actually, I think I used, wish I had that other truck here. I think I actually used actual screws. Because I don't know if these are long enough. But we can put the C and D blocks. Of course, all they give us is just a C block. Okay. Suppose the D block comes with the tower. It's another bag. And I'm not going to use the kit setup either. I'll show you where I'm at. Putting in the C block, and see these little spacers got, you can basically move the hinge pins in or out to change the rear toe of the car. And that the kit setup is 3, even though you go further back. It's another page, I think. Shows this is a kit setup in 1 degree of toe in. Well, that is 3 degrees of toe in. So they screwed up their diagram. And that is 1 degree, 1 or 2 degrees of anti-squat. Yeah, it would be 1 degree of anti-squat by having it down. Well, carpet anyway, you want basically 1 degree of toe in, which that means you need to have your C mount clear in, no, clear out, and your D block mount clear in. For 1 degree of toe in. I'm gonna go half. I'm gonna drop it to 1.5. So I'm going to use a 0.5. Because that's where my old truck, and that's where Levin's truck was set up. It was at 1.5 degrees of toe in. Yeah, the diagram shows 3 degrees, but it says it's 1 degree. Well, they're full of crap. So I'm using a 0.5. I'm going to, instead of going clear out, I'm going to go half the way out. And I'm going to drop it to 1.5, and I'm going to go center. I'm not going to drop the front end. I'm going to keep that 1 degree anti-squat. At least I think that's. So I'm going to go out 1/2, and then I'm going to go on the D block. I'm going to go clear in and in the bottom. So it's going to end up 1.5 and 1. That's where we're going to go. I know the buggy, they got 0 anti-squat. They use clear in, clear out, and in the bottom set of holes for these on the buggy, on the carpet setup. So it's got the 0 degrees anti-squat, but then 1 degree toe in. I'm going with 1 degree anti-squat and 1.5 degrees toe in. Three is what the old kits used to use. It's what you use on dirt usually. And I guess what it does, next page, is building a ball diff, which I'm building a gear diff. So next thing to build will be the gear diff. And I can see, I don't know why they do this. Why don't they just have you start building the diff before you start putting the rear end together? But either that or put the rest of the rear end parts, less the top plate and or top cover anyway. Because why leave it lay around with these 2 pins in, and of course there's supposed to be spacers. I may just leave it untogether, because you got to use a spacer front and rear on it. I suppose I could probably lengthen it clear out, but I just leave it like that for now. We'll build our gear diff. Yeah, they gave a ball diff, but not a gear diff. Oh, I didn't realize I was still on the... I done moved the car off. I just left the arms lay for now without putting the pins in. So I just end up losing shit because they don't give you the D block and stuff till after you build the diff. according to the kit. Yeah, they give you a diff. There's the case and the big ass idler. At least they gave us the 3. They didn't fucking cheese out like they did on the 5M and give you the 4-gear diff when they had already come out with the 3-gear diff, or came out with it. Oh, the ball diff. Are you running a 7-car or a 6-car, Fasty? Are you running a 6 series or a 7 series? Because I think the 7 series, they're narrower. The diffs are. Because I got a whole pile of 6 series. I should have several 6 series diffs laying around here. So are you using a 6 case on your 7 car? Okay, the 7s are narrower. Right, the cases are narrower. So the diff is narrower. Or the ball diff is narrower, or are they the same? I guess I should figure this out too. Because I actually bought a 7 diff, gear diff. See, it's a 7 versus a 6. The one thing, the 7 one comes with the aluminum cover, which they should come with anyway, but yes, because the plastic one tweaks. One of the dumbest things, yeah, they put them on the 4-wheel drives, they put aluminum cover, but they come out with a cheesy ass plastic cover for the 6. For the 6 diff. I'm sure I probably have a few ball diffs around here. If the 6 goes in your 7 cars, like I said, I guess 6 would be wider, so maybe they don't go in your 7. You know, these things aren't made to cut plastic bags. That's what I had this scissors for. Actually, all these have cut is Lexan bodies. It's all they've ever cut. Or plastic bags, I guess I should say that. Hey, where's my grease? I had grease, I know I did. I build my diffs still like 8 scales. I pack the seals full of grease. They don't show it in the manual, but that's the way I do it. Still build them like my 8 scales. With grease on the out drive. So you don't damage that seal. Sliding it in. A little more grease to pack in that O-ring. And then I put my finger in there and force that grease backwards as much as I can. It's the way I build mine, anyway. Little washer. Not the littlest washers, but first come out the 6 series gear disc. They had a great big one of these washers that they put down in there. Well, the things after a while would tweak up and kind of bind the diff up. I got smart and put these little washers in here instead. Actually wear down into the washer and start to roll up. They'd get thin enough that they'd roll up, bind the diff up. Okay. See if I remember. Yeah, that diff, gear looks a little, or that case looks a little different than the 6 case. Like they redesigned it. The slots extra slots in there like they're cut different. The slots that are in there that you don't use. Oh, need my hemostats. Another thing I need out, tool I need out that I don't have out. Guess I could. And then I get done with the grease here. Pack that one up. Put both of these in. This isn't the set of hemostats I should have grabbed, but it's got to snap together to actually grab a hold of the pin. Oh, getting ahead of myself. Need the little washer in there. That looks much better. And another thing I didn't get out was the diff oil. These can be a pain to get in. Hemostats make it much easier, that's for sure. Go. That's kind of snug. Don't know why that is. Should twist pretty easily, which it does, but hey, time to put these together, the spider gears. And for gear diff, I'm going to start this go around with it's what my head in my 6.4 when I redone it. I'm going to use a 2-gear. You can run, of course, you normally run 4-gear. I'm going to run a 2-gear 30K diff fluid. And I don't know why I would guess with a 2-gear you can it's less rotating mass. I don't know if it's always the best thing, but I would think a 2-gear, it's more better. Yeah. So what the fast guys do, I guess we should follow them, right, Fasty? Anyway, I got some 30K oil. That's what we're going to try, 30K 2-gear. Yes, we must be sheep. Yep. That's what Levin ran in his diff. Before I was running a 10K with a 4-gear. So a 2-gear would equivalent to a 4-gear should be able to run lighter oil in a 4-gear. So I'm guessing this would be about equivalent to a 20K, 25K with a 4 gear. I don't know. Yeah. See there, you know more than I do. Smoother cornering, 4 gears, smoother cornering, better for high bite or slick tracks. Yeah. Well, carpet is high bite, but I don't know. It's just what the fast guy ran in a 6.4, so we're going to stick with it on this 7 build. And of course, no instructions to say how full to fill it. Guess I could go to a B7 book and look. Of course, I had it up earlier. Oh, yes, I still do. Ha! Where'd it go? Did it close on me? Oh, you... Nope, there it is. Where is it? Oh, no, that's that one. I must have closed it. Had it up earlier today. Let's see how full it says. Probably just over the spider gears. But we'll just make sure. Or just on the... We're above the center shaft. That's about where it is right now, and where the spider gears start. The taper up. Oh, I knew I should have left this up for a reason. Go to damn manual for a buggy when I'm building a truck. Okay, why is it not? There it goes. Too many windows open. Gear diff, there we go. Diff fluid. Fill to top of the cross pins. Okay, that's what I figured. Which I'm about there. That should be plenty enough. Should be. It's completely covered now, so put in one more drop. Can't hurt. Yeah, exactly. 100K is bad enough. What is the new four-wheel drive? They put 100K in the rear and 30K in the front, where the 74 kit you ran 15 front and rear. What is the deal with all this locked up diff bull crap, basically? Because, like you say, it's not oil, it's a grease. Nah, 30K is enough. And where's my black grease? I need just a little bit of black grease on my seal. Holds it in place for one. Maybe fill some of the imperfections in the gasket. That's why I do it. Helps hold anything to help hold that grease in there, or oil. Basically like a silicone gasket sealer, gasket whatever sealer, but use black grease. Hi, Drew. Seen a few people pop through here. I guess I didn't say hi to when they did. Just building the kit. I'm probably about done for today. Been going for 3 hours. Haven't done a whole lot, but I don't have all the stuff I want to build it. I'll have to pick them up this weekend. I thought I had all the stuff I wanted, but so I've actually skipped a step because I don't have the stuff I want. So we'll have to come back to it. Yeah, I kept going. Got to thinking, well, I can build the gear diff, show people how I build the gear diffs. And that's out of the way. I say I wouldn't be able to build the shocks yet. With what I want different springs, I want different rear pistons. I had a feeling I wanted different rear pistons, but they run kit came with 2x19s. I want to run 1/8s in the rear. A little too soft. Probably be all right for dirt, which I think this kit's basically set up for dirt. Leave us carpet guys to fend for ourselves. Have to spend another $100 or more. Heck, this is over $50 right here in the gear diff. Can't, I mean, you can try to run a ball diff on carpet, but you're gonna torch it. Eventually. And once they start barking, they don't stop. Tighten them down, tighten them down, tighten them down. They're done once they start barking. Okay, well, okay. I think I'm out of here now. You say I'm about as far as I can go. Where am I? I think the next thing is the rear stuff. There's the gear case. Sway bar link. I probably guess I could go ahead and put the gearbox in. It all comes with that. Oh, they got the whole slipper. That's more parts I'm going to have to steal off that other car. Steal the slipper off that I got an Avid slipper on there. Okay, I think I'm out of here for now. We might come back on tomorrow. We could put the gear or the rear end together. I think I got all the parts for it. I just have to steal some parts off the other car. Hi, Jim. I saw you were in here earlier. Okay, well, now it's 3.5 hours. Some guys that have it built already. Not me. Anyway, guys, I think I'm out of here. Thanks for coming in, watching. Glad to have Fasty to talk to. Keeps me straight. Anyway, guys, maybe we might catch you tomorrow. It just depends. I got a few things to well, I'll need to pack my car, get it ready to go for Friday, but I have to run into town too, so I don't know. Might come on for an hour or two, get the rear end put on it. So we'll catch you guys tomorrow, or some of you coin guys will see you over in MSS later on. So later, guys.